You had said to me in our little interview, we thought we were better than we really were,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep. It was a windfall.
Mhm.
It was much bigger than anybody expected. And it almost just moved so fast. Lottery and avalanche really kind of are both of the terms that I've used before, because it was just this onslaught of work. We were at one point telling people 6 months, and that was a guess. That was a prayer, really,
Wow.
that we could get it done within 6 months.
Welcome to the $100 Million Mindset, the source for business owners who aspire to scale, grow, and reach their full potential. Whether you're aiming for 5 million, 10 million, or 100 million. Your hosts are Alan O'Neill, the Irish plumber, who scaled Abacus Plumbing and Cooling to over 100 million, and Tickle Me Todd Liles, a coach to high-performing business leaders and the owner of Service Excellence, are going to help you think bigger, act smarter, and take your business to the next level.
Sometimes the best year on paper can be the one that nearly breaks you. And in 2021, Austin, Texas was hit with a massive storm. It was a 100-year storm. And for KangaRoof, it looked like it was going to be an absolute blessing. Sales shot from 12 million to 22 million almost overnight. But hidden inside of that surge were seeds of disaster.
Today's guest is Stacie Feller, co-owner of KangaRoof and Koala Cooling. On the outside, her company looked unstoppable. Inside, it was chaos. Fast hires, stretch systems, and pressure that no leadership team could fully manage. And when the revenue dropped back to earth, the fallout was brutal.
This is part one of a two-part conversation, a very deep, very real, very heartfelt conversation. In this episode, we're going to go into the storm, the growth that followed, and the hard lessons that happen when success moves faster than systems. Stacie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Stacie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here, and you and I had a chance to do a pre-interview, Alan. I wanted to talk to her about some of the topics that we would visit on, and I knew in the pre-interview it was going to be an amazing show because you were so honest and real, but also the thing that already right out of the gate, she is willing to talk about the things that a lot of people that come on the $100 Million Mindset won't talk about until after the show.
Right, right.
Like there's been,
Yeah.
you know, they say there's the conversation that happens at the dumpster.
Yeah.
On the $100 Million Mindset, there's the conversation that happens when the show is over and you look down at your phone and it rings and it's the
Mhm.
guest on the other side going, great show. But now I want to tell you some of the hard things.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I know our audience wants to hear some of those hard things, right, Alan?
Absolutely. It's the good stuff, Todd. It's the good stuff.
I will tell you, it's taken me a while to get there. But I found that the more vulnerable I am, especially with peers that are in this circle, the actual better I feel,
Yeah,
the safer I feel.
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, there's no judgment here. I think if anyone operates a business long enough, they're going to have mistakes.
Yes.
And the question ends up being, do you have the financial staying power and the willpower just to make it through so you get to the next level?
Yeah.
Because there is another, it's seasonal, right?
Yeah.
If you have a winter, you're going to have a spring and you're going to have a summer.
Absolutely.
So let's jump into it. First thing we want to talk about is that surge that happened.
Hmm.
You had said to me in our little interview, we thought we were better than we really were,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
just for the listener, 21 hits.
Hmm.
I do believe that this was this what they call a 100-year hailstorm?
Yeah, absolutely. This was massive. Back up just a little bit. Again, I only got into the business with my husband in 2016. And
Oh,
then I
really?
took over. Yeah, I'd been in the insurance business in corporate America for 20 years. So I joined Scott in 2016. By 2017, he was ready to turn over the reins to me.
Hmm.
And so, as you know, he's an entrepreneur. He likes to go do other things,
stuff.
start
Yeah.
other things. And so 2017 is really when I started leading the organization. So when 2021 hit, it was not my very first storm, but it was my first massive storm. And so I had perceived win after win after win because we had just grown and grown and
Right.
grown. And so, yeah, I'd had some hits during that time, but not gut punches
Right.
like this one was. So, yeah, this was the big daddy of all of them. We had people coming in from all over the country to work this storm.
Yeah, so there was a lot of competition that was going on, and I was with you guys for a couple years prior to that,
Yep.
and for a couple years after that.
Around that time. Yep.
Yeah, and just for the listener, just so you know, they got to a point to where they didn't fire me, I didn't fire them, but I did transition them to who I thought was gonna be a better expert for the roofing business at the time.
Yep.
We'll come back on that. Um, but for you guys, it sort of felt like winning the lottery, I think.
I think that's a perfect way of looking at it. It was a windfall.
Mhm.
It was much bigger than anybody expected. And it almost just moves so fast. Lottery and avalanche really kind of are both of the terms that I've used before because it was just this onslaught of work.
Yeah.
And we had good years, so it wasn't like we were struggling. But this was just something no one had ever experienced so fast. And in roofing, um, especially in Texas, and just as to share with your listeners, in Texas, there's no regulations. We always say, my husband always says, there's three things you need to be a roofer. You need a truck, a ladder, and a hammer. Yeah. Now you notice I didn't say license, I didn't say insurance, I didn't say know how to put a roof on. I
Right.
just said that's all you need. And so everybody's flooding the area for these insurance claims and for replacement roofs to be done. And so it was easy for us to capitalize on that because our brand was so well known.
Mhm.
And so our phones were ringing. I think the first day we had like 800 voicemails.
Wow.
I mean, if you just think, I even look back at that number now and I go, I mean, when you get to number 367, you still got all these other ones to go. And we were high-fiving and
Mhm.
man, we were on top of the world thinking this was it. This was what was going to project us to where we wanted to be.
Right.
Mhm.
I remember Stacie, probably, I don't know the exact year, but it was probably 2007, 2008. We had a first freeze in our history, like the Abacus Plumbing's history. And I remember thinking to myself, this is like we've won the lottery.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate thing is the calls were coming so fast, we couldn't answer them. And there was voicemail after voicemail building up. And after that, when people would say to me, hey, there's a freeze coming, it's a plumber's paradise, I'd be like, no, it's not. There's nothing fun about a freeze for us because you start to make more enemies than friends because you just can't get to people fast enough. Did you experience that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're talking the same language here right
Yeah.
now. I mean, it's especially for me who Scott and I both, we pride ourselves on taking care of our customers
Exactly.
and our
Exactly.
employees. I mean, someone asked me a long time ago when we were talking about our vision and our mission statements, and they said, why are you in this business? And for me, I have seen the bad employers that are in this business. There are a lot of people that take advantage of people in the trades. We prided ourselves on taking good care of our customers and having a good name in the community. Scott and I were out in the community a lot. We did a lot of volunteer work and stuff. And so the last thing I ever want was to be at HEB and somebody see my shirt and go, "Oh, hey, and
Yeah. You
here's the
didn't take
problems
care.
we
Yeah.
had with you."
Yeah.
And so that's what we started having issues with was communication to people. And at this time also, which until you and I started talking about it and I started kind of digging back into the portal of that time,
Right.
we also had supply chain issues then.
Yeah.
And so if you remember, COVID had happened.
Right.
And so when COVID happened in the roofing industry, a lot of the manufacturers expected a recession.
Mhm.
So they didn't fill their yards in wintertime. And so then we had like 2 hurricanes on the East Coast. So a lot of shipment went over there when they were rebuilding. And then we had this massive storm here, and Dallas had massive storms. So nobody had shingles. They couldn't
Wow.
manufacture them fast enough. And so we have that issue. Then we had gutter coil issue. Couldn't get gutter coil in. So yeah, I could get the roof on, but then I had the gutters I was waiting on, which means now I'm waiting on payment, and but my supplier wants to get paid. And
What
so,
was your back order at the biggest point?
oh my gosh, we were easily, and to just give you away right now, we like to stay 2 to 4 weeks out. If I sign a customer today, I want to have the roof on within 2 to 4 weeks. Okay,
Right.
that's where I like to
That's
stay.
reasonable.
It's
Yeah.
reasonable. We were at one point telling people 6 months,
Mm.
and that was a guess.
Mhm.
That was a prayer, really,
Wow.
that we could get it done within 6 months because we really didn't even. We knew what we had, We just didn't know how we were going to get through it.
So, Stacie, how did that sudden revenue surge, change the way your team saw themselves in the company?
Oh my gosh. One of the things I say a lot now is revenue hides a lot of errors.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
And when there's money in the bank,
Hmm.
your decision making is different.
Yes.
It's not as tight
Hmm.
as it should be. It's like your personal bank account. When you're getting to the end of the month and there's not a lot of money left, you're really cautious about what you spend at the grocery
Hmm.
store. But when you're flush with cash, man, you're buying all the candy at the store you can get.
That's right.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
so yeah, that's the way we felt. But we also knew that we needed people because our staff we were working 7 days a week. And I'm very fortunate. I even had some personal friends that reached out to me that said, "Do you need me to come answer phones?" And I'm like, "Would you please? Would you please?" And so, I had people
Right.
that were just friends sitting there answering phones and returning calls and saying, "Hey, we're going to get to you. We're going to get to you. We're going to get to you." But uh, that was trying to figure out how we could get people fast enough. And then you don't train them well because you just
Right.
throw them
You
in.
just need them on the roof.
I need
Yeah.
bodies,
Yeah.
but I needed office people to process stuff.
Yes.
And so then what I thought was a blessing, again, when you have money in the bank, you're not as deliberate maybe on some of your decisions. My next door neighbor at my office building offered me to buy his building. And I had told him, he had asked me before if I'd ever be interested in it, and I said no, because we plan on being efficient with our growth, and I'll let people work from home. But before you sell it, ask me
Right.
again. And so he did. And okay, I have the big storm. I doubled my staff. I went to 52 people.
Wow.
Okay, well that's not going to hold in our little 5,000 square foot office.
Hmm.
So I wrote a check for the building next door. Because I had and I
The
needed
cash.
it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I needed the building, I needed the space,
Hmm.
and so, then I had to spend money on outfitting it, so we outfitted it.
Is this the one that you were outfitting with your inventory? I remember at one point you had a building that you were putting lots of roofing inventory
No,
in.
that was our leased space where Koala was at the time,
I got you.
and so we were gonna try to utilize it for some inventory. This was actually the building right next door to us, and so we outfitted it for offices because I needed call taker,
You said you wrote a check. You paid with it for cash.
paid cash for it.
Okay.
Yep. And so, which was great during the time. I got a great deal on it. We negotiated it was a fast close. He needed it to be fast, and we needed it to be fast because I didn't have anywhere else to put people. Literally, I had in our little bitty conference room, I think I had like 8 people in there at one time,
Wow.
trying to be on the phone talking to customers,
Hmm.
and we're trying to train them on how to talk to customers.
Mm.
And so, yeah, but the bank account looked great,
Right.
and, it was awesome, and now we accounted for everything by knowing these were deposits, and so they were all set aside, so but at the same time, as we're putting these roofs on, we're recognizing the profit too, and so we had a tremendous profit from this from the sheer volume of the work.
And if you don't mind me
Mhm,
asking, when it was all reconciled,
mhm.
were your numbers in this moment tight enough that you actually look back and go, "Oh yeah, we made a lot of money"?
Uh-huh,
Oh, you did.
yeah,
Okay.
I
So
did.
it wasn't that you spent a lot of money and didn't actually make it. You actually made a lot of money
We made
too.
a lot of money.
Okay.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Don't ask me about the next year, though.
We
I guess that's what you are gonna
we're,
ask me
we're
about.
going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
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 So you said it makes you think that you're better than you are.
Yeah.
Specifically, you're talking about hiring all these people.
Mhm, mhm.
Narrow in on. I'm trying to find what you think the leadership mistakes were here.
Okay. And
Because you had an opportunity, and I think
Right.
everybody listening here, everyone's listening to this is probably getting sort of surged up because they don't know what's about to happen.
Yep.
And I imagine every listener that's thought about growth, they're getting
Mhm.
energetic and yeah, go Stacie, I'm going to do it too.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
but then something happens.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about what that thing was. But
Yep.
let's first off just talk about what was the biggest leadership mistake that you made in the middle of this?
Okay. Couple of things. First of all, I was beginning to build my leadership team. Okay, so I had brought in a sales manager, I had brought in a production manager. Okay, and then I had an HR manager at the time and an accounting manager at the time. So I had these managers reporting to me, And so it was becoming much more corporate. Okay. And these are all good people. But I let them get between me and the work.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't set as clear expectations, and I didn't put my foot down fast enough. I tell a lot of owners this, and this doesn't mean you can't grow, but I will tell you a lesson learned is nobody cares about your money like you care about your money.
Right.
And when there's a fat bank account, and I mean, we're writing. It was nothing to have a $500,000 day in sales.
Wow.
Okay,
Mhm.
and when you have that come in. I mean, your sales manager's going, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I need to hire 6 more people. And I go, well, he's my sales manager. So, okay, go hire 6 more people. Well, then that means I need 6 more trucks. That means I need 6
Yeah,
more iPads.
exactly,
That means I need, I mean, I need shirts.
Mhm.
I need background checks. I need all this kind of stuff that flows along with that. And I did not have that tight enough to be able to tell you what everybody had to produce to make it worth hiring them.
Yeah. Yeah. But Stacie, one thing that springs to my mind, and I often think about it when I'm driving around, I see a roofer up on a roof,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I don't know, this is not as a slate on your company by any means, but safety,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say is very prevalent in the roofing industry.
Mhm.
And I think when stuff happens like this, safety is something that can easily be let slide, you know?
Absolutely.
And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, the company doubled in size or
Mhm.
tripled in size really quickly.
Mhm.
Did you have safety issues during that time?
We did have safety issues. We were very fortunate. We did not have falls during this time. And just a little explanation of kind of how roofing works in Texas. The labor is subcontracted out.
Oh, okay, so they're not
And
direct
so
employees.
they're not
Yeah.
direct employees. We hire the crew leader, and he hires all the rest of the folks there. It's all subcontracted out. But where my business model is different is I have a superintendent on every job site.
Right.
And so I do have an employee on the roof at the time it's being installed.
Right.
They're checking, and they are roofers. They know what they're doing. They know how to install. But I require all of my salespeople to be up on the roof. And at this time, drones were popular. So a lot of people, I'll fly a drone over and see it. And no. We have boots on the roof is what we would say. We're up on the roof. So hiring 6 more salespeople, are you capable of getting on a roof? Are you
Right.
capable of moving around on a roof? Are you capable of,
Yeah.
and everybody says they can
Right.
until it comes time to so
get on the roof.
so we had to do some test of let's get up there and let's see what you can do. And we had a couple of guys that we were like, no, come on. So we appreciate you. We think you'd be a great salesperson, but if you can't come up here and walk a roof, this role isn't for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Alan
Yeah.
and Stacie, where we're at here is we've got this massive storm.
Yep.
We're 800 calls in voicemail.
Yep.
We are doubling our hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Money is flowing.
Yep.
And towards the end of this, and to me, this is sort of what represents the pinnacle right before things start getting a little rough. You and Scott started building a very large, very nice home.
Mm-hmm.
And home building by itself is a huge tension suck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here's where it gets sort of tough. Scott was the person behind the engineering and general contracting.
Yep.
But what impact did that home put on all of this?
Well, it took away some of his attention, but in all honesty, Scott's the entrepreneur. And so Scott's not, and I never expected him, he doesn't want to be in an office all day long, 12 hours a day at a computer. Whereas me, I mean, that was I only had 3 requirements for this house he was building for us. 3 requirements. And one of them, number one, was I had to have an office because I love what I do and I love working. And so, so him building the house didn't necessarily take away from the business. But what it did for me was it really didn't give me, I needed somebody to bounce off that has my back.
Mm-hmm.
And instead I'm hearing voices and it's not people who didn't have my back, but didn't know what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see me there at Saturday night at 8:00, just scrolling through Excel spreadsheets, sorting and figuring out, okay, if I can get this neighborhood over here, how many customers do I have here that we can roof in 2 days so I can have one superintendent do all 6 of these houses. Because our system wouldn't do it. And I'm an Excel person, and I was the only one in our office that really had that skill.
Right.
So, so that was a distraction, yes.
Because you didn't need the help, you needed the support.
I needed the support, and he was a big support of it, but he's also, it's one of the things that attracted me to Scott that I love him so much for is he is so optimistic.
He is.
I hate to say I'm the opposite because that sounds horrible, but he brings me closer to reality of it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I remember during that time I cried a lot, and because I was just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It was the first time in my life I've ever been overwhelmed.
Mhm.
I'm a pretty confident person, and I've always been, we'll get through it. It's okay, and I can tackle this. A lesson I learned from Dave Ramsey 20 years ago is he would say, when you're having debt, you got to write it down. Once you write it all down, you realize it's not as bad as you think it is.
Mhm.
And so I'm a big one at notes, to-do list, writing it down. This was the first time I didn't even know what to write down.
It's too much.
It's too much. It was too much
Yeah.
coming in here.
Yeah.
And I had folks on my team that were great cheerleaders.
Yeah.
But at the time, a cheerleader is just, I need a realist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's this book that Charles Duhigg wrote called The Super Communicators.
Mhm.
He's only written 3 books. All 3 of them, I'm sure, are amazing. I got to read the third one. I've read The Power Habit and Super Communicators. But in Super Communicators, he put listening to someone in a way that I've not ever heard before exactly because it's so pithy. He said in communication, you have to make a decision. Does the person that I'm talking to, the person that's talking to me, do they want to be heard, helped, or hugged?
Yep.
It's like, oh. And once we understand where it is,
Mhm.
it's kind of like going, okay, I know how to support you.
Yeah. And Scott and I have gotten through that. And it's really funny you bring that up, because a lot of times I just need him to listen. And so he will say, you just want me to listen to you? Or you want me to, because he's got a solution for everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know what? 99% of the time the solution's right. But I don't want to hear a solution at the moment.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
that.
but sometimes optimists have to be realists
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar said, some people are so optimistic that they go fishing for Moby Dick and bring the tartar sauce, right? I mean, it's not
Mhm.
it's not very realistic, right? So I think the important thing is that not only have you got to be optimistic, and I'm generally I'm a very optimistic person, but I like to think I'm a realist as well, and especially in the face of crisis.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I think with Scott and I, that's what helps balance us out is that we drag each other to the center somewhat.
right.
But yeah, that was he's pretty much, Stacie, we're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out.
hmm
And I'm like, but I don't even know where to start on some of this
Yeah.
stuff. And so we just started having to plow through it, and we started hiring people, and we started signing contracts. And you asked what the big mistake was? There's 2. The first one was I listened to people that they said what I wanted them to say.
Mm.
Okay. And I knew it at the time, and I wasn't strong enough to go, whoa, 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 this isn't right. Okay. There was a book my coach made me read, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but there was a phrase in it that I've written down, and it's on my monitor at my office, and it says, what are you pretending not to know?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when I get in these situations, I go, okay, what am I know this is not right, but I'm gonna turn a blind eye to it for now. But the second biggest mistake I made is I did not demand, and I truly mean demand. When I said earlier about putting my foot down, that we over communicate with customers.
Yeah.
Our team because we lived in this world, they assumed that the customers knew what world we were living in, and I knew that the customers didn't know that. And I didn't realize until later that my employees didn't realize that the customers didn't know that. All the customer knew is that they gave us a deposit in June, and they hadn't heard from us, and it's September.
Yeah.
Yeah. which is not great.
And my staff goes, "What do you mean they haven't heard from us? We've got 300 people in front of them."
Mhm.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
And I didn't demand that communication level that I should have.
Right.
And that's what got me some negative reviews. That's what got me some people that canceled their contracts. That's what,
Mhm.
and that just, you talk about a knife in the heart. For me, that was a knife in the heart.
So we're going to talk about that
Mhm.
as well as the crash that followed afterwards.
Mhm.
And here's the reason why. Like you said, one of the biggest mistakes was listening to people that just want to tell you what you wanted to hear
Mhm.
because you guys were growing.
Yeah. That's the
And
fun time.
do you mind if I talk about what we talked about in the pre-interview?
Sure.
So during this time, when Toby shows me the budget for the following year, Toby's the sales manager. He used to work for us, by the way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Did that the right way.
Mhm.
Just FYI for everyone to know. I look at it and I go, Toby, why do we think we're going to do this much revenue this year? And his answer in the beginning made sense, which was we still have a 4-month backlog
Carryover.
And I'm going, okay, I got carryover. That makes sense to me. But when's the carryover going to end? And let me see the months. And the months were still very aggressive afterwards. And I start saying, well, hey, why don't we sit down? Toby would meet, about once a quarter, and we actually met at this Starbucks here in Buda, and I'm going over it with you, and I'm going, Toby, this isn't going to work. You're going to find out that this was a massive event, and you're going to have this huge retraction. No, we're going to be good. Is the way Toby would say it. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't think so. You got to bring it up to Stacie. And Toby's not here to defend himself, but the second time I talked to him, he's like, Stacie don't want to hear that. I don't know if he told it to you,
Mm.
but what he told me is Stacie don't want to hear that.
Mm.
So then I mentioned it to Hannah,
Mhm.
and I don't remember if I called you or emailed you, but I brought it up to you a little bit. But about the 5th time in, I got to a place where it's like every time I bring it up, it's like daggers are being thrown at me. I'm going, they don't want to hear this. I even got on the phone and called a supplier and said, can I just talk about numbers? They had shipped 3 times the amount of normal roofing in that year than the previous years.
Wow.
I called Toby and I'm like, Toby, have you called your supplier? At least this one, the big guy, whoever, I don't remember who it was, but he gave me the name. They've shipped 3 times.
Mhm.
They're not going to ship this much this year. This is not going to work. And I guess I have 2 points to this. One of which is I saw it, and 2 of which is I wasn't a good enough coach to be heard through everybody else. And I don't know how else to put that other than just own it. I wasn't good enough to be heard through the wind. What could I have done differently for you?
Yeah, I've thought about that since we talked about it. I think it's taken a lot of growth on my part of listening better. And at the time, from what I remember, I'm sure back here I didn't want to hear it. Okay. Because this was high season. This was great.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
loved this. This was, man, we're on fire. But I also was in the weeds.
Yeah.
And so I was still in the weeds day to day trying to figure out. I mean, I was actually helping do some of the scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually talking to customers going, can you be there Thursday? Can we be there Thursday and drop materials on Monday? And so it was almost like, I can't talk about that right now. I'm
Yeah.
in the fire
That
right
makes
now.
sense.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't talk about how to roll up the fire hose right now because I'm in the fire.
Yeah.
And
Good call.
and so I don't want to say what could you have done better on that. I don't know if it was a timing thing.
Mhm.
I think what you're saying is very good. Now help me remember. I'm going back in my memory, and I think over the course of the year, and I'm going back, and I didn't think about this in our pre-conversation. I'm just going back, mental check. I want to think the first budget that rolled out was 24, and then about halfway through we dropped it to 18, and then somewhere along the line we went to 16, and that's when people started getting nervous.
Mhm.
Does that sound? Is my memory?
That's a
somewhat-
little high for the friend. I think we started at 18,
Okay.
and because I knew we wouldn't do what we did the prior year. I knew that was a one-time thing, but I
So sorry,
also,
Stacie. What
yeah.
did you do the prior year?
So the prior year I did 12,
Right.
Then we went to 22. And so
So the 10 million growth was the year of the
the
storm.
year of the
Yeah.
storm.
Yeah.
And so I believe what we started at was 18 because I anticipated that backlog.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really thought we would do, without the backlog, I figured we would do about 14 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you figured? I mean, that's
The three
reasonable.
million,
Reasonable, yeah.
3 to
Yeah.
3.5 million of
So you're
backlog.
thinking
Yeah.
storm year,
12
get through the
million.
backlog year, and then maybe get back
Yeah.
to 14.
Yep. But here's what I didn't anticipate,
Okay.
and I should have, and my husband said it, but we didn't think it was going to be this massive. Is and we kind of term it. He terms it as the storm hangover. Is the next year. So if a storm happens this year, and everybody comes into town to do the work, so the work that I would have done next year has already been done by some people from Oklahoma and Dallas
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Florida and everybody else. Okay. And that's what happened here. We didn't realize the significance of that drop off.
Yeah.
That we thought that because the storm was so big, there's no way that many people could have taken that much work out of our coffers for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we figured we would have gone from where we were at 12, we would have gone to 14, 15, plus
Yeah.
the $3 million of backlog.
Yeah.
But what
happened?
ended up happening,
Yeah, what
are
happened?
you ready for the
Yeah,
drum roll at
let's
this
hear it.
point?
Mhm.
So what ended up happening is that even with the backlog, we ended at 9,
Wow.
In 23.
22.
So
So
you
we-
essentially
Yeah.
lost 25% of your prior to the storm year
Yes.
revenue. You went from 12 to
Yeah,
9.
I
Yeah.
went from 12 to 9
Wow.
with the backlog.
With the backlog.
With the backlog.
Because you just said something that I didn't consider until this moment. All I knew was that the local suppliers had shipped 3 times, but they're bringing in material from outside local as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Well, and labor
basically-
from outside came in.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people, if there had not been workplaces, yeah, I mean, you can get on the crew.
So really, it was probably 4 or 5 times the amount of material was
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
used.
Round Rock Austin essentially had the market
Mhm.
cleaned out for 5 years plus.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because anything that could have been covered by insurance was probably picked up by insurance.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Has anyone ever gone back to look at what the total amount of claims were in that area compared to previous year?
That'd be interesting to see.
It'd be an interesting.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be an interesting number to see. But yeah, so that's so we went. So all of a sudden, and here's the worst part, which is why the strategy that we'll talk about later that I'm working on, is that the season for roofing really starts in March, April. Okay, that's when spring storms start hitting. So we go January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Okay, so we've got that bell curve. And so remember, we're doing backlog in January, February, March, April. Okay, we're all doing backlog, but calls aren't coming in anymore. Call volume drops. And I see that and I start getting nervous. But again, what are you pretending not to know?
Mhm.
I keep telling myself, season hadn't started. Season hadn't started. I can't let go of these people right now. I know that I don't have the call volume for it. I know that but the season hasn't started. So if I start letting people go now, when the season hits in April, March, April, May, I'm going to need them back.
Wow.
So I hung on to people. And I hung on and I hung on until probably July and August. I realized there's no season this year. There is no season this year. And by that point, I am in the hole for that year pretty significantly.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Did you make any money that year?
Oh, no, I lost everything I made the year before.
Oh,
Everything.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're being real honest and vulnerable right now.
Yeah. It was, it was, learned some great lessons. And I'll be honest with you, I am so grateful for that storm.
Mhm.
And that took me a long time to say, but I learned so much and I became so much stronger that now when I put my foot down, I put my foot down.
Mm-hmm.
Nope,
Yeah.
we're not going to do this. No,
Yeah.
I have people coming to me with ideas all the time. What if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do this? Nope.
I'll give you a perspective as your friend for a long
Mhm.
time and a
Mhm.
guy that's coached you. I think you've always been able to put your foot down. I've never seen that as a weakness of yours. Never. No, not through before, during, or after. I think what you said earlier, first of all, who are you listening to?
Mhm.
And also, you don't have a crystal ball. There's got to be a little bit of grace here for you. I mean, probably the only person that really could have given you this advice was someone that was in a market that went through the same event 5
Mhm.
years earlier and could look back and go,
Mhm.
expect this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say now you've been through it
Mhm. Mhm.
and you are probably giving this advice
Mhm.
to a plumber, an
Yep.
electrician, an HVAC person, a roofer,
Mhm.
someone
Mhm.
who might have an overwhelming surge. And by the way, I think those surges can come from different things.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think right now there's business surges I'm seeing in HVAC
Mhm.
that's being related to certain sales models that I don't think are long-term sustainable.
Okay.
I
That's
don't. And I want to unpack that all the way
Mhm.
right here, but
Mhm.
I have visited with enough of these people that you find out about these sales models and in a way they're
Mhm.
sort of like unethical storms. So,
Mm.
oh yeah, they work.
Mm-hmm.
For
They'll
short
grow
term.
you really, really quickly,
Mhm.
but there are some major consequences that are
Mhm.
coming downstream.
Yep. Yep.
So either you sell this thing in a hurry or you're going to be, stuck with some really
Mhm.
negative business outcomes at the
Yep.
end.
Yep.
I used to, in our formative growth years, I used to, say to the guys, we have to protect the baby and the company is the baby. But when I think about something like that, Stacie, it's at the end of the day, yourself and Scott are left holding the baby.
Uh,
And when
Absolutely.
I have to make a tough decision or had to make a tough decision in
Mhm.
the company, I always tell myself, I'm the one that's going to get left holding the baby because your sales manager and your
Mhm.
production manager and all these people aren't going to go find other jobs.
Mhm.
KangaRoof is your
It's our baby.
livelihood, right? Your
Ab
baby. You've got to take care of your baby. So
Absolutely.
I would be in the same position. I'd be,
Mhm.
very empathetic towards my
Mhm.
people and do my best for them. But at the end of the day,
Mhm.
you have to look after the baby.
Mhm.
And sometimes very tough decisions have to be made to
Mhm.
protect the baby, but ultimately
Yeah.
that's what you've got to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we did is I hate letting people go. So performance issues are different, but when it's because I overstaffed,
Yeah.
or because we don't have the calls, that's the toughest
It
toughest part for
is.
me.
It is.
And so I always try to reach out and help people find a job somewhere else. Help
Right.
them try to do give them as much time as I can. If I know it's coming, I can hold on to you for another 3 weeks.
Who's
Yeah.
who do you think actually stressed about it more? You leading up to laying them off or
Mhm.
them once they were laid off?
Oh, me, totally. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the way it
100%.
usually
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Like usually the owner or the manager is
Mhm.
actually stressing out about it for
Mhm.
days and days.
Mhm.
And not to say the team member was happy about it, but they're like, fine.
Yeah.
And then
Go find something else.
yeah, that
Yeah.
decision for them was a
Mhm.
5-minute one, and for you it took days
Mhm.
sometimes.
I used to say, I had this saying in our business, look, if somebody quits here,
Mhm.
the reality is before they get out the gate, they can have another job. Now maybe the year after the big surge,
Mhm.
it would have been harder to find employment.
Mhm.
But honestly, I think if you want to work, you can work in the home
Yeah.
service trades,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yep.
So this is a lot. And not only did you lose all the money from the
Mhm.
big event,
Mhm.
which is that
Oh, made me wanna throw up, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, even
I
when I think
keep
about it
thinking
now, it makes
about
me
your
wanna throw up.
house. I
Yeah.
keep thinking about this house you were building. How did all that shake out,
Yeah,
Stacey?
well, that got put on pause for a
Did it?
while.
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
is it still on pause?
No, we finished it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's probably 90% finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a few rooms that aren't finished, but they're not rooms we use and that kind of stuff. So we're living in it and it's beautiful and he did an amazing job at it and it's lovely. But yeah, it got paused.
Mhm.
It had to. And because we had to regroup and we had to sell the building.
Oh, did you?
First of all, I had to take a loan out on the building that I
Oh,
paid cash for because I needed cash.
Right.
And then if you remember the time it was after COVID, commercial space wasn't needed
right.
because people were working from home now.
That's right.
And so this big, drop in commercial came out, and but God provided, and whenever we put it for lease for a while, nobody leased it, so we put it for sale. Got a buyer, paid the loan off, even made some money on it. So that was a good thing overall. Other than my gray hairs from it, but but we had to shrink back down, and so now we're down to 22 employees, and everybody has a job. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and we've made the decision that as a company, we know we can grow, but everybody believes they have capacity to do. Like right now, this year's been a really slow year, and so we're gonna end at about 9 million, which I'm gonna be honest, it sounds low, but compared to people I talk with, we're doing
You're doing
darn
fine.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, but we believe with the staff we have now, and our staff believes we have with what we have now, that we can do 12 or 15 with little to no additional staff. Maybe some more superintendents to do job site checks, but our in-office staff said no, we can dig in and make it happen, because they don't ever want to go through it again.
Right.
Because my staff I have now went through that storm and went through the layoffs too, and so and I love them, and I know they love me, and I think it was harder for them to see me go through that. So they've said before they don't ever want to see that again. So we will stay lean so that we don't have to go through it as a family.
Good.
So yeah.
Stacie, I mean, God forbid, but if another storm happened next year,
Yep.
what would you do differently? Because I would say this, like a good friend of mine, Jimmy Dale, we've had him on the podcast,
I love him.
says, Jimmy says, like, these storms, they're a bit like crack cocaine, right?
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
I've never taken crack cocaine, but just for the record.
Yeah.
Sounds like it gets you pretty fired up, though.
But like, it's, you, as an entrepreneur, like, I understand the buzz, like, totally. It's a major, massive high, right? And, the temptation, I can be a bit of a revenue junkie myself. So the temptation is like, well, let's go for it. Here comes the gravy train again. So I would love to know what, and this is all way off our script, but like, I would love to know how would you handle it? Like, would you say, enough is enough? This is our trajectory, and away we go.
So I've thought about this a lot, and actually, what I keep coming back to is I wouldn't have to do anything different. My staff would do it different. They've even said we have Brenda's put together a storm kind of procedure of things that we do when we have a storm, and we don't cut corners, but we switch to some other processes that allow us to be a little bit more efficient, and then we stop. We just
The
take
hard
that's
thing
it.
is to say no.
The hard thing is that, but again, I kind of because I get this question: what would you do different? Would I stop the phone ringing? Would I turn the phone off? Would I do that kind of stuff? The two things my staff has said we will not take on more than we can handle.
Right.
Okay, and so I will have to lead that charge though, because there will be a few, especially in my sales area, that's going to want to keep doing it.
Of course, yeah.
But the bigger thing is, I will demand better communication to our customers in the very beginning, and be very, very clear that we're going to tell you 12 to 18 weeks, okay? But we don't know what's going to happen between now and then.
Right.
But here's what I do know. What I do know is you know where to find me, okay? If you have any questions because we take a deposit, okay? And I take the first insurance check, okay? And people go, well, you're going to hold on to my insurance check for 3 months or 4 months. I am. That's what secures you a spot in line, okay? And so, and honestly, I do that too because, like it or not, in this economy, you never know what's going on. And if somebody gets their first insurance check and it goes into their bank account, 3 months later, I don't know if they're going to have it again for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I'm going to go put a roof on, and I can't take that roof off, and I'm hoping you can pay me. I can't operate a business that way.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is we would slow down. We would stop when we need to stop. When we get that feel of, okay, guys, we are pushing out too far. But the biggest thing would be the communication piece of it. And again, telling customers, we're a long time out, but I can promise you, you know where you can find me if you're worried about it.
Right.
And just you have to be patient, but do more of that communication more clearly and more often.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So you've talked about some of the decisions that you made because of this, whether they were leadership decisions or money decisions. I want to talk about the decisions that your people made
Okay.
because I'm friends with a lot of your people, still are.
Mhm.
One of their salespeople made $400,000 that year.
Yep.
Wow.
400,000.
Yep.
That person probably made some decisions that they thought that maybe I keep making these decisions like this
Mhm.
forever.
Mhm.
We're not going to narrow in on this person, but the point is a lot of people made a lot of money.
Mhm.
What does that do to the mindset of your salespeople, your managers that also have this massive windfall,
Mhm.
and then the following year they don't have that windfall?
Oh, for salespeople, it's devastating because salespeople are a lot more ego driven, and so and they're commission driven, and so um, for salespeople, what I find is that's kind of their love language almost, and so yeah, they make the big dollars that year. We're living high,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't see an end to it. All they keep seeing is more of
Just
this
keeps
flowing
coming.
in that
Yeah.
keeps coming in, and so um, when it doesn't come in the next year, then that's when the stress happens. That's when um, I overpurchased a home. I bought too
Mm-hmm.
much of this. I spent too much money here. I've done, and so, and then that puts pressure on me to go, okay, I got to feed you more. I need to be able to feed you more
Mm-hmm.
so that you can make what we're making. And so,
Did you overspend
yeah,
in marketing because of that pressure?
probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did.
I've we've had those same things occur here when we've had seasons, and whether they're salespeople or they're coaches that are based off client numbers and growth, and then at some point it's a hard thing to say to a team member, "Hey, this is where we are now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You need to make the most of what you have,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to budget because this is probably going to stay this way for 6 months."
Yep.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are you doing? It's like,
Yep. Yep.
I'm doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
there is no magic wand to control the economy.
And I believe what I'm very fortunate of is I'm very transparent, and I'm very transparent with my team also. Um, and so I hope they know, I believe they know where my heart is.
That's good.
And so when I tell them we're doing everything we can, they believe me. Okay. And so um I don't have to have a lot of those conversations because I think everybody knows we're doing everything we can.
Yeah.
That it is what it is right now. We're doing everything that we can to try to bring in as many leads as we can, but I need you to also be working as hard as you can be to make the most of everything that I bring into you.
Good.
And so it's a we got a partner in this. And so, I don't get a lot of those questions of what are you doing? I think they know that just because they've been with me for so long. That's one of the things I'm really proud about. We don't have turnover.
Mhm.
I've had turnover where I had a lot of folks leave me, but they've come back. And so and that's always fun. But they're some of the best people I have.
Yeah.
And so
They just thought there was more money to be made somewhere else.
Mhm.
Because
grass is always greener on the other
yeah,
side.
Yeah.
they made
Yeah.
400,000 previous year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and one of the things too I look for in my leaders now is, um, can you lead in the tough times? Some of my interview questions when I'm talking to people who in that next level is talk to me and tell me how do you lead? Specifically, how do you lead when things are tough? It is easy to lead when things are great. It is easy to lead during the storm. It is easy to lead whenever you're on the rise. But I need to know specifics of what you've done tactically and strategically when times are bad.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes what you find is people can't handle the stress of the bad times.
Mhm.
Um, which I've yet to figure out how you ferret that out in an interview.
Right.
Yeah,
Only
because
past performance.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and so yeah, because that was one of the things is yeah. Again, I go back to it. It's easy to lead in the high season. but it's tough whenever it's down.
Yeah.
And can you rally the troops?
I think, Stacie, the hard thing would be for you and everyone in the industry is if another storm did come,
Mhm.
especially your sales people and production people that are paid on performance,
Mhm.
they're going to want to take everything they can.
Mhm.
So you have to be the person that's
Mhm.
sort of corralling the troops and saying, no, hang on, enough is enough. We don't want to get
Yep.
to where we were the last time,
Yep.
right?
Well, my sales folks are the only ones that are they're commission based,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're the ones I have to rein in.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing that's the nice thing about having a tenured staff that went through this. They got the phone calls from the customers that were mad.
Yeah.
They
So
were the
dealt
ones
with it.
they
Yeah.
dealt with it, and so there's a little bit of I want to take on as much as I can take on, but again, we all got punched in the gut, and so the little bit of it, they have to take some responsibility of did you set the right expectations?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we all know as salespeople, it's hard to look at a customer when that customer has the pen out and is ready to sign, and they go, "How long is this going to take?" And you're going to tell them 4 months
Yeah.
when the door knocker down the street said, "I can do it next week."
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a lie, but there's so many things we can pick apart with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But as a sales guy, when that pen is in their hand, you don't want to take that. You don't want to. So you just go, we can do it faster than that.
Mhm.
And so, so that's where I go back to kind of demanding that we set the right expectation.
Under promise, over deliver. Yeah.
Exactly.
Stacie, I just want to say before we wrap this up that, sitting here across from you, I've never met you before today. Obviously, I told you earlier, knew your brand, but your heart for your people jumps out. You've got emotional a couple of times, and every time you did, you were speaking about the impact on your staff, not on you personally.
Mhm.
So I just want to, as somebody that, I pride myself on always taking care of my people. It's really clear you care.
Thank
You don't just care, you care way more than most. So congratulations on that, and the best of luck for the future.
Well, I owe a lot of that to my dad.
Yeah.
My dad grew up in a small business family,
Mhm.
and man, he took good care of his people.
Yeah.
And he's got one guy who started with him when he was 16. When the young man Mike was 16 years old, and my dad ended up selling him the business. And it's like another son he raised.
Mhm.
But so anyway,
Well, I like to say that can't be taught, but it can be caught.
yeah,
You caught it from your dad.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But you've got it in there,
Thank you.
Stacie. I can tell you that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What Stacie has shared with us here today is a reality that every business owner needs to hear. And this is just the start. This is part 1. I'm going to invite you to come back for part number 2 as we unpack the current state and where Kanga and Koala is heading. This has been the $100 Million Mindset.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the show this week. Head over to toddliles.com/mindset to get the show notes. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a new episode of the show. And if you enjoyed this episode, then share it. It really helps us get the word out. You've been watching the $100 Million Mindset with Alan O'Neill and Tickle Me Todd Liles.